Hey everyone, this is Ben with RegisteredNurseRN.com, and today we're going to talk about online nursing degree programs and online classes. And a lot of students have seen advertisements come up. You've seen them online for a complete online degree or RN to BSN, and maybe even in your local university you've seen online classes offered. So today I'm going to talk about a few things. First of all, I'm going to talk about whether these online programs are really legit and what to look for to make sure you don't get scammed. Next, I'm going to tell you who is best suited to take these online classes and who should really probably avoid them. Next, I'm going to talk about the degree types that you can earn in nursing through a lot of these online degree programs. And then finally, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what online classes are like, what to expect with tests and assignments and so forth. Now, first of all, there are a lot of legit nursing online degree programs out there, and a lot of traditional universities that have been in existence for decades are offering completely online degrees or at least some online classes, and there are some other programs out there that offer 100% online degrees. And so there are legit programs. There are also some scam programs that try to present like you're going to learn to be a nurse, but really they're not going to offer you the proper credentials so that you can sit for the NCLEX examination, or it's really just kind of a prep curriculum that really is supposed to help you get into nursing school or something like that. And they're not going to give you a degree or a diploma that you can actually use to go and become employed as a nurse. So what do you look for to make sure the program's legit? First of all, you want to make sure they have some type of accreditation in place at the nursing school you plan to attend. And there's generally two types of accreditation. You have regional accreditation and then you have national accreditation. And most schools will just have one or the other. There may be other accreditations that they have on top of those or other certifications, but you want to make sure they have at least a regional or a national. Regional tends to be a little bit more prestigious, I guess you can say, and employers may take it a little bit more into account if the school was a regionally accredited school. But even if it's a national accreditation, that's usually okay. The second thing you want to look for is you want to make 100% sure that whatever program you attend is going to meet the requirements set forth by the state board. Because when you graduate from a nursing program, they'll give you a degree, but you can't necessarily work as a nurse until you've taken the NCLEX exam and become licensed to practice as a nurse. And that's really important, and that's why it's so important that you pass that NCLEX. But before you sit for the NCLEX, the state board's going to make sure that you've met all those education requirements. And so that's why you want to pick a school that will meet those requirements. Now, some state board of nursings will have a list of school programs or a list of the requirements, and you can kind of check and make sure that it matches up. A sort of rule of thumb, if you don't want to have to do an extensive amount of research, is let's say there's a local university in your area that offers an online degree program. Have there been nurses who are working in the field right now who graduated from that program? If so, it's probably legit, okay? So that's sort of a rule of thumb. And then finally, you just want to make sure that you're actually getting a degree and that it's a respected university that has been in existence at least a little while, because a lot of them will spring up and a brand new university may not have accreditation in place. They may not have an approved curriculum yet from the state board. So you always want to watch out for that. But generally speaking, pick a university that's been in existence, make sure it's got an accreditation, and then make sure it's going to meet the nursing board requirements. And if so, the program is going to be completely legitimate. Employers don't generally care if it's an online degree versus a traditional degree, because the degree itself usually doesn't say online or traditional. It's just a degree from a university. And if you've met the program requirements, then hey, you've got a degree. So you can get a degree, it's legitimate. And now let's talk about who should take online nursing classes, because it's not really for everyone, and some people struggle in them and some people love them. I love online classes. I took a lot of online classes when I was in college, and if I ever go back for another degree, I'm only going to do it online. That's the only way I'm going to go. And who this tends to work best for are, first of all, are you a highly motivated individual? You have to be able to really work on your own and take the assignments that they give you online and just sit down and knock them out and be able to study on your own and listen to a lecture or just look at the PowerPoint notes that they give you and just be able to do that on your own. And a lot of people can do that, and some people don't like that. Some people like to go to a classroom setting and actually hear the professor talk to them, be able to raise their hand and ask questions, talk to other students. So it really depends on what you like with regards to that and whether or not you're a motivated person. Another thing that I think makes a big difference is whether or not you're an introvert or an extrovert. If you're an introvert, introverts tend not to like a lot of social interaction. Sometimes we can be kind of shy. We don't like small talk. and we're not good at on-the-spot questions. Like if a teacher calls on you, we kind of lose our train of thought easily because we kind of think more analytically, and so on-the-spot thinking we usually don't do as well. Whereas an extrovert, they tend to like a lot of social interaction. They like to engage with the professor. They like to engage with other students. They have to be talking and doing things to learn a little bit easier. So it helps to take a look at your personality type and figure out what you are. Now, I'm an introvert, and I would hate going to a class and having those icebreakers where the professor would be like, okay, now everyone stand up and introduce yourself. I would always be like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. But yeah, I like to read a lot, and so online classes work great for me. I'm motivated, I can do online classes, but if you're not one of those introverted types, if you like hanging out with people a lot, social interaction and so forth, you might do well in a traditional classroom instead. And then finally, time management and transportation. If you are working at a part-time job and you have a child and you have a spouse and you're involved in your church or this or that, and you really don't have a ton of time to take out and go to a class every week, or if you live a really long distance, let's say you live an hour from a university you want to attend, or maybe there's a cheaper university really far off and you won't be able to move there, but you could do it online. Well, in that case, online classes work great because they're usually really flexible. You'll have, for example, in a lot of online classes I've taken, I actually had up to a week to take a test. It opened on Monday and it closed on Sunday. So I had 7 days that I could take the test whenever I wanted to take the test. And you can do the assignments when you want to do the assignments as long as you turn them in by the due dates. So in that regard, if you're strapped for time and you don't want to have to take time out to actually attend a physical class, online classes are perfect for you. Okay, now, what type of degrees can you get? First of all, even with an associate's degree program in nursing, you can usually take at least some of the core classes online, or at least a couple of classes online. For example, when you go into a university, you might have to take history and English and classes like that. Usually you can take those online. Those aren't a problem. Now, when it comes to the actual nursing program for your associate's degree or for the actual nursing degree part, that's when you usually have to do them in class. And most universities right now, anyway, they don't have it set up so that you can just take 100% of everything online when it comes to your first nursing degree or for the nursing program part. Usually you will have to do those clinical skills, the precepting and clinical rotations and all that. You'll have to do those with an actual instructor. So that's why those usually are not online. But you can take at least some online, and even some of the nursing classes themselves, like for example, nursing research and theory might be offered online, or something like some of those classes where it's just more learning about nursing history or something like that. You can usually take those online, but the actual skills part or clinical parts, you really can't escape having to do those. Now, once you get, let's say you did an associate's program and you wanted to go back and you wanted to get a bachelor's degree. There are a lot of RN to BSN programs that'll help you. If you already have an RN degree from an associate's program, you can go to a bachelor's degree and just take those extra classes, and those usually are 100% online. And not only that, but if you go back for a master's degree, let's say you want to do a master's in nursing, you want to be like a nurse practitioner or nurse educator or something like that, a lot of times those classes will be 100% online as well, which is great. And the main thing you want to think about though when you do that is, like, for example, if you do a nurse practitioner program online, they're usually going to make you set up preceptor sites, and you're also going to have to do like lab sites and lab work and stuff like that. So you're going to have to do that with the online program, but still, hey, you can take most of it online, pretty much 100% online, other than having those special preceptor meetings and stuff. So that is definitely an option for you. So there are 100% online programs, but for the general nursing part, you're generally going to have to attend some traditional classrooms. And CRNAs, by the way, usually you have to do that in class. So if you want to become a registered nurse anesthetist, you usually have to take that in class, because there's really not a lot of online programs for that right now. All right, now what are online classes like? And again, I've taken online classes. I am so for online classes. I love them. In fact, I think like even middle school should be online, and high school. You should have the option to do that online, I think. And I hope in the future they offer something like that. How they work usually is that you'll log into a university's website, and then they'll usually have a list of the online classes you're taking, and you'll click the class that you're taking, and it'll take you to a page where you'll have lectures, possibly. Some classes will actually record their lectures and have those available. Some of my classes have actually recorded them and put them on YouTube, and we watch them through YouTube. But you'll have online classes that may have lectures. Some don't do lectures, and you'll just have like PowerPoint notes up or some other notes up that you can download to your computer and have the PowerPoint notes there, and that's it. But that's how that works. And then you usually have the syllabus that tells you when assignments are due, what material is going to be covered, when tests are due, how the class will work. You definitely always want to print out that syllabus and keep track of that, because that'll help you stay on top of your assignments and due dates. In addition, you'll have reading assignments, of course, where you'll have to read, 1, 2, 3 chapters for each test. And a lot of online classes, because you're not getting that classroom discussion or that classroom feel, a lot of them will have it structured so that you have to go and make discussion posts, and they'll have an online forum for that class, and you'll go on there and you'll be required, for example, maybe for each chapter, you'll be required to go and make a 100 to 200 word post answering a question that the professor posted, or talking about what you learned in the chapter or something like that. And some may make you respond to 2 other students as well, or something like that. So you typically have discussion posts that you have to do to kind of make up for that missed classroom time. Another thing that you'll have to do, sometimes you might have research papers or some type of project. For example, I took the speech class online that we had to take. You had to take, as a part of the degree I got, you had to take a speech class. So I took it online, and for that we had to give 2 speeches, a persuasive and an informational speech, and we had to get 5 people and record it with a camera of us giving the presentation and so forth. So that's what we had to do for that class. And you might have other projects you have to do out in the community or something like that. For a lot of the basics classes like history, usually it's just online notes, you memorize it, and you go take a test. Now, how do those tests work? It's just like a traditional class. You usually have 3 to 4 tests throughout the semester. Every class is different. I've had classes that were open book, and some open book classes, open book tests are really easy, and some are hard because some of them will cover a lot of information and you'll have a time limit. And so you can't just flip through the book for every answer. You'll have to know some of the material already in your mind. But some open book tests are kind of easy. It just depends on the class. Some of them will have closed book tests where you're not supposed to use the book at all, and you're just supposed to take the examination, and they will consider it cheating if you use the book. But again, every class is different. And then some will actually have proctored exams where you will have to show up to an actual classroom, and the professor will keep watch over you while you take the exam. So you have open book, closed book, and then you have proctored exams. And then some online classes, you may not even have exams. Like I took a literature class, for example, and it was all just writing papers and discussion posts. There were no exams at all in that class that I took. So that's how online classes work. They're really, they're not for everyone, but if you're introverted, if you're motivated, if you don't have a lot of time, or if you have a long commute, I highly recommend you take one. If you're not sure about them, you may just want to take one and just see how you like it. There's a lot of programs for these different nursing degrees, and then on top of that, they are legit and they are respected by employers. So that's a little bit about online degrees. I hope that helps, and thank you so much for watching.